I don't know about you, but I think this world needs more smiling axolotls, especially if they double as coasters. Today, I'm going to show you how to knot this adorable little axolotl coaster and learn some useful intermediate macrame techniques along the way. Here from BOCHIKNOT, and welcome to our axolotl coaster pattern tutorial. Well, at first glance, this pattern may look simple, but it is filled with a lot of techniques that make it a wonderful intermediate pattern. So if you are a beginner with macrame, I definitely recommend practicing your double half-hitch knot and vertical lark's head knot. But if you're up for the challenge, you can go ahead and start this. I do go over this entire project step by step, so hopefully you are able to follow along with me, even if it means taking a bit more time to do it. Not only do I go over some double half-hitch knot and vertical lark's head knot patterns, I do go over some shaping techniques and how to close off a pattern with minimal fringe so that you're not tucking in every single cord at the back of the pattern if you want it to be fringeless. This is a perfect project for an intro to sculptural macrame. So if you've ever been curious on that particular topic or theme, this is the project to start with. And without further ado, let's jump right in. To make this project, you of course need some cord. I'll be using 3mm single strand in the color blush for the ears. This cord is nice and sturdy, so even if you're making a ton of double half-hitch knots and untying them, should hold up fairly nicely. For the main face of the pattern, we are going to be using a 3mm single strand cord in natural color. And then for the eyes and the mouth, I'll be using a 1.5mm black string. A special tool you'll need for this project is either a crochet hook or a weaving needle. Now, either or should work. I do prefer using the crochet hook a little bit more. To me, it's easier and sturdier to use, but it is definitely your own preference. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with a 50cm long cord, place it down horizontally, then taking 7 strands of 100cm long cords, fold each cord in half and attach them to the center of this horizontal cord with a reverse lark's head plus half-hitch knot for each of the cords. So start with a reverse lark's head knot first, then take the right end, make a half-hitch knot on the right side, then left hand half-hitch knot on the left side. Okay, and then repeat this 6 more times, 3 on each side. Once the 7 strands are attached, what we're going to do is make sure that the anchor cord ends are even on both sides. So see which side is a little bit longer. It's a little bit longer on this side, so we're just going to shift the knots down to the right a little bit, not too much, then match the ends together and okay, and feel good. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take another 100cm long cord and we're going to attach it onto the left side a little bit differently with another knot. We're going to fold the 100cm long cord in half first. Then we're going to make somewhat of a loop like this, so about 1.5 inches, and then we're going to hold that spot, take the bottom cord to the side, and then take the bottom end and we're going to make a double half hitch knot. So bring it over the anchor cord on the right, then bring it to the left and through this loop, then tighten. Then shift the knot up here, and then do the same thing on the right side. So fold the 100 centimeter long cord in half. That's big enough loop. Bring the bottom end over, then take the bottom cord end here, wrap it to the left side of the anchor cord and back down, and then through the right side and through the loop. And then shift it up. Okay, and then now what we're going to do. Okay, so once the double half hitch knots are made on both sides, we're now ready to start the first gill, and we're gonna start on the left one first. So left cord here, and you're going to need 1 strand of blush cord at 140 centimeters long for this. So I'm going to turn it to the side. What we're going to do is we're going to make several vertical lark's head knots. So what we're going to do first is take one end of the blush cord, leave about 2 inches to the left here on top of the anchor cord. Then take the long end, we're going to wrap it around, go under and up on the right side, like this. And then we're going to place it on top, then go underneath the anchor cord, like this, and then back through the loop on the left. So holding that first knot at the top, then we're going to tighten. Once everything's tight, slide the knot up there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make 7 more vertical lark's head knots. So take the long end, we go over through the left, under through the left. So that's another vertical lark's head knot. So we've made 2 now, and we're going to make 6 more. So continue until all 8 vertical lark's head knots are made. Okay, once the 8 vertical lark's head knots are complete, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we're done with the first skill almost. So we're just gonna turn it back down, bring the anchor cord here under that left base cord, and we're going to use that anchor cord to make a double half hitch knot onto that left cord. So over through the right to tighten, then over through the loop to tighten again, push it together, like so. And then now what we're going to do is make the same pattern on the right side. So turning it sideways, take a blush 140 centimeter long cord, place it on top, leave 2 inches to the right, take the long end up through the top like that, and then we're going to go under and through the right loop. It helps to hold that spot to prevent it from moving too much. Then pull the blush cord to the right side. Oh, straighten everything out. It should look like this. Tighten the knot. Once it's tight, we're gonna slide it up. Then now we can use the long end to make 7 more vertical lark's head knots. So over, then under, over, under. Keep going until we've made a total of 8 vertical larkspur knots here. Once done, we're going to turn it back down, then finish off with a double half-hitch knot with the natural cord. So over, tighten that knot, then make a second half-hitch for the double half-hitch knot, then push it up, and then we have our loop here. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 more 100 centimeter long cords, attach one on the left and right with a double half-hitch knot. Same method as how we attached it first here. So make a loop, attach the top cord end with a double half-hitch knot. So make a loop with the cord, attach the top end with a double half-hitch knot. Okay, so once the next set of cords are attached, go back to the sides and we're going to make a few more vertical larkspur knots. In continuation with that long blush cord from above, we're now going to use it to make 8 more vertical larkspur knots. So bring it above this natural cord, go above through the left, make it nice and tight, then go under and through the left for the first vertical larkspur knot for this second one. And then we're going to make 7 more on to this cord. Once done, turn it around, attach with a double half-hitch knot. Shift it together on top, and then do the same thing on the right side. Turn it sideways, blush cord over through the right, nice and tight for this first one, then under and through the right, then over through the right, under through the right, and then keep going till all 8 are made. Once done, turn it back over, attach the anchor cord onto the right cord with a double half-hitch knot. Once nice and snug, everything looks good, we're going to repeat this pattern once more underneath on both sides. So add the natural cord and then finish off the third gill on both sides. Once done, this is what the gills should look like on both sides. Now we do have some hanging extra cords from these, but we'll tuck those in at the very end. So just leave them out of the way for now. And then we can start making the face of the pattern. So what we're going to do here now is taking another 50 centimeter strand of cord, we're going to make a row of double half-hitch knots from left to right. But because we're starting to make it more narrow, we're going to take away some cords. So we're going to take away 4 cords total, 2 on each side. So let's just say, let's separate out the anchor cord first. Then here we're going to 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to skip that next one. So the 4th cord on both sides, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna take away these 4 cords. So we need to bring them to the back instead, and up to the top so that they're away from our cords at the bottom so we don't accidentally add them back in. So take them away to the top with all the other excess cords. Okay, now straighten everything out. Then with all the cords in the middle now, we're going to attach onto this 50 centimeter long anchor cord with double half-hitch knots. Now, start on one side. I'm starting on the left side. What we're going to do here is taking the first cord. Now, if you need to pin that cord down for the first one, since it's a little bit harder to make the first one, do so. Oh, I think we need to pin it on this side. So what we're going to do is go over through the left, tighten, then over through the left, and we're going to tighten. Then take it off. First double half-hitch knot is complete. Make sure the ends are relatively the same length, and then turn it back around, and we're going to continue a full row of double half-hitch knots all the way to the right side. So okay, so continue this row of double half-hitch knots until all of the vertical cords have been attached. So all the way to the right side. Once the row of double half-hitch knots are complete, we can tighten up the row slightly by re-pulling on the vertical cords, but also by pulling on the anchor cord ends on both sides. Now, taking another 50 centimeter long anchor cord, we're going to make a 3rd row of knots. This time we're going to skip another 4 cords. So taking the 3rd cord on both sides, so 1, 2, 3, take that 3rd cord on both sides to the back, and then we're going to go 1, skip 3 cords, and then take the cord after that. So the 4th cord after. There really is no specific technique with this. It's just that I'm taking a look at the spacing in between the knots. You don't want there to be a huge gap, so you want to take away cords where it looks fairly tight. So now with the 50 centimeter long cord, make a full row of double half-hitch knots from left to right. Once the 3rd row is done, just going to retighten some of the rows. make sure everything lies flat. Taking a fourth 50 centimeter long cord, we're going to skip another 4 cords. So it seems like 4 is the magic number for this pattern. So what we're going to do is just see where there's a little bit of crowding. Seems like the 3rd cord on both sides is a little bit crowded, so we're going to skip the 3rd cord on both sides, pull them to the back, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. 1, 2. And then we're going to skip the middle, the cords next to the middle 2 cords. So you find where the middle 2 cords are and then skip the cord. Okay, and if you do need to keep these cords separated out nicely, you can tie a loose overhand knot. We will come back to some of these cords later, but for now, we want to keep them away from the project. Then, taking the 50 centimeter long cord, make another row of double half hitch knots. Take another 50 centimeter long cord, skip another 4 cords for a row of double half hitch knots. Take another 50 centimeter long cord, skip another 4 cords in the center, and then make a row of double half hitch knots. Once done, what we're going to do is we're going to take one last 50 centimeter strand. Instead of skipping 4 strands like we did all of the previous rows, we're just skipping 2 strands. So we're going to just take the 2nd cord from both sides. So this is the first vertical cord, then we skip the 2nd, pull them back here already. So with the remaining 4 cords at the middle, we're going to make one last row of double half hitch knots. Once all 7 rows of double half hitch knots are complete, we can now start closing off the bottom half of this coaster pattern. So right now we do have a little space here, so we're going to fill that up with 2 double half hitch knots. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the middle 4 cords, so separate everything else. We're going to overlap the 2 cords like so, and we're going to make 2 overlapping double half hitch knots in the center. So taking the middle right cord, take it over the overlapped cords for a half hitch knot, then over and through the loop again for the double half hitch knot. So same thing on the left side, over the overlapped cords, tighten the first half hitch knot, then over through the overlapped cords, retighten the first one so that the knot is nice and tight. Then pull on one side of the anchor cord first and then the other side to tighten everything up. Now we don't want this to be super tight, so we just want the knots to lay side by side. Oh, we do have a scrunched up cord there, so we're just going to get rid of that. Okay, so once everything's straightened out, this is what it should look like, 2 side by side double half hitch knots. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the next set of anchor cords down, and we're going to make a double half hitch knot towards the center. on the right side and on the left side. Then overlap the anchor cords, and then similar to what we did above, make 2 overlap double half-inch knots in the middle. So once the first full loop has been completed, we're now going to move on the next set of double half-inch knots. We're actually going to skip the next set of anchor cords. We're not going to make a full loop here. We're going to take the next set of anchor cords, so right here, and we're going to use this to make a loop down here. So what we're going to do first is with the 3 cords over on the left side, attach them onto this anchor cord here with double half-inch knots. And then same thing on the right side. Then once that's done, we're left with the middle 2 cords, overlap the anchor cords, and make 2 double half-inch knots with the 2 cords here. Okay, so now that this loop is complete, take the next anchor cord, and we're now going to make another row of double half-inch knots on both sides. So 4 double half-inch knots on both sides before we get to the bottom. And you see here that the second cord on both sides is pretty short, so we're going to need to replace those with some longer cords. So this is where the cords at the back are handy, so we're going to take 2 longer cords. So whichever cords. So I'm going to do those 2 because they're longer. Flip everything back away. So those 2 cords are now here. Oh, we have to split them onto both sides. Bring them through to where they are going to replace. So on the right side, make that first double half-inch knot. And then replace this one with the one from the back. I'm just going to take this one to the back so it's not in the way. Same thing on this side. Double half-inch knot. And then take the one from the back. And then we're going to make 2 more double half-inch knots on both sides. Okay, so now we're going to make the overlapping double half-inch knots in the middle. But you see here, these 2 cords are super short, so we're also going to bring some replacement cords down from the back. So push those cords up, bring 2 new cords down, overlap the cords, make 2 double half-inch knots in the middle. Okay, once that's done, we're here now. You see here that we had skipped that set of anchor cords, made 2 rows. So now here, we're going to skip this next one, and then take this second one from the left and right for a row of double half-inch knots. So we're going to make a full row of double half-inch knots all the way down, excluding the middle 2 cords, of course. So make a diagonal row of double half-inch knots here. Then with the middle 2 cords, make 2 overlapping double half-inch knots. And then last but not least, if everything is super tight, you can loosen things up. I like to adjust them by shifting the knots sideways and whatnot to loosen them up. adjust them so that they are straight and even on all sides. But what we're going to do now is we're at our final row of double half-hitch knots. So just making sure we didn't include any cords we shouldn't. So here we're actually going to make a closing row of double half-hitch knots so we don't have to tuck too many cords in at the back at the end. This closing row of double half-hitch knots will make it nice and clean on the sides and leave only a few strands at the bottom for you to tuck in. So starting on the right side, so just dividing the sides in half, make a regular double half-hitch knot first. Then include the working cord with the anchor cord for the next double half-hitch knot. Then pull on the anchor cords to tighten. Then snip off the newly added anchor cord. You can tell it's the new one by pulling on it. You can see it's the one from the side. Then include the working cord with the anchor cord for the next double half-hitch knot. And then pull on the cord, snip off, and then what we're going to do is repeat the same pattern all the way down. Of course, we're going to exclude the middle two cords. So repeat this closing row all the way down on the right side. See, once it's done on the right side, this is what it should look like. No fringe except for the bottom anchor cord and then the last fringe left from the working cord, the last double half-hitch knot that was made. And now we're going to repeat the same thing on the left side. So start with a regular double half-hitch knot, then include the working cord with the anchor cord for the next double half-hitch knot. Pull on the anchor cords to tighten, then snip off the newly added anchor cord. Then include the working cord with the anchor cord group for the next double half-hitch knot. Pull on the anchor cords, then snip off the newly added anchor cord. And then repeat this pattern all the way down, excluding the middle left cord. So all that's left to do is with the middle two anchor cords, overlap them and take the middle two cords and make overlapping double half-hitch knots in the middle. Okay, once done, this is what the pattern looks like. We have 6 strands of cord at the bottom that we will tuck in at the back before we trim the excess off. And then we have the bundle of cords at the back here that we can just snip off. So the ones that were just skipped on the back side, we can trim these cords all off. And then with a weaving needle, we're going to weave these excess cords through some knot loops at the back. So for this, we're going to weave the cord through. Oh. I'm just going to do it right onto the natural colored base, just because there's not enough loops at the back. So what we're going to do is weave it through like this. I'm going to tie an overhand knot. And then snip off the excess. Now you don't have to tie that overhand knot all you have to do is just weave it through and then snip off. Now for this one, it is a little bit shorter, so I'm gonna weave it through where I want to weave it through first, through the knot, and then weave it through the bottom of the weaving needle. Okay, once it's weaved through, now we can pull it through, like this. And then for this one, I'm not going to make an overhand knot, I'm just gonna snip off the excess. There's a lot of loose cords there. Snip it off. Now, we're gonna repeat the same thing for the ones here and then the cords here, weave them through the loops and then snip off the excess. So once everything's tucked in nicely at the bottom, pull on the cords, and then once everything is nice and good, snip off the excess. And then now we have a fairly clean back. You can trim off the excess as short as you want. All that's left is to add the eyes and the smile, so the mouth. To do that, you're going to need some black string. I have 40 centimeter strand of 1.5 millimeter black string. For the eyes, we're going to weave one end through the weaving needle. And then what we're going to do is, there's a few different ways you can make it. You can just weave it through back and forth so that it's a thick eye. You will get the shape of somewhat like a square or rectangle by doing it this way, weaving it back and forth. Now, I want it to be a different shape than a rectangle, since it would be hard to get round eyes for this because of how it's knotted. We're gonna try making it angled. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna weave it here in between the 3rd and 4th rows. Leave a little bit at the back, so like 1.5 inches, and then we're gonna go through the next hole, next row, and we're gonna go diagonally up. So I'm gonna go, instead of straight across, we're going up. So it's gonna be like this. Then we're gonna go through the other side, so between the 4th and 5th rows, or between, yeah, the 5th and 6th row, sorry. And we're gonna go through here and then do the same thing, go through diagonally upwards like that. So we're gonna make this a little bit darker. So instead of a horizontal square rectangle eyes, I'm going to be making upside down V eyes. So kind of like winking eyes in a way. And I'm gonna do it on both sides. Oh. So diagonally up. And then you can make it as dark as you want, but we're gonna follow this pattern a few more times so it's a little bit darker. Okay, once we have it done on the right side, do the same thing on the opposite side. Once done, we're going to take a 20 centimeter long string and we're going to weave it here for a nice little smile. So we're gonna follow the curve of the bottom row for the smile. It works perfect for this. So weave one end through. And then take the other end through the other side, same spot. Okay, so now to clean it up at the back, for the smile, we're just going to tie a loose double overhead knot. You don't want it super tight because if you're tight, it'll go straight like this, and that's not a smile. If you make it loose, it'll sit nicely in that crevice for a smile. Same with the eyes. Tie double overhead knots and then snip off the excess. And now our axolotl coaster is now complete. And there you have it, your very own axolotl coaster pattern. A very unique macrame coaster pattern you've likely never seen before. Now, once you've made it through this entire project, congrats! You can now take the techniques you've learned from this tutorial and apply it to other animals or other projects if you like. A lot of these techniques that I've shown you in a lot of my tutorials can be applied to many other creative projects. If you're interested in learning more about animal patterns, whether it's 3D animals, animal wall hangings, we are going over that animal theme over on our BOCHIKNOT macrame community on Patreon this month. So if you're interested in learning how to design your own macrame animal designs, or just want to learn how to make 3D animals, now is the time to join. For more details, head on over to patreon.com/BOCHIKNOT. We'll also be releasing some of our exclusive macrame animal tutorials over on our YouTube membership, so if you prefer to stay on the YouTube platform, you may want to check that out as well. If you guys do complete this pattern, I want to see yours. Make sure you tag me on Instagram at BOCHIKNOT for a chance to be featured. I hope you guys had the most fun with this one. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.